Hi, my name is Xingchen Zhou, and my discussion section number is A17. Today, I want to share with you some of my reflection. As an Asian woman, the model minority stereotypes has shaped my understanding of racial identity and sparked my interest in racial dynamics. As an international student growing up in China and studying in the US, my cross-cultural experience enriched my worldview, but also highlight the challenges of understanding local history. I become more committed to advocating for gender equality and cultural understanding. At first, I chose week 7. In week 7, we discussed the important themes related to Asian labor and nationalism. Nationalism defined it as the identification and support for one's own country over a company's behavioral prioritizing national interests and including immigrants. Historically, these forms of nationalism has led to the discrimination and exploitation of Asian immigrants, particularly during economic downturns when nationalist sentiments identify and contribute to the exclusion of Asian laborers who will seem as inferior and capable of working under harsher conditions. And then the economy marginalization of Asian labor is closely linked to the lack of political and legal rights, making them more vulnerable to exclusion or denial of entry during times of economic recession. As Bonacci emphasized, this situation allowed capitalists to hire Asian workers at lower wages while preventing them from organizing for better working conditions. This system not only reflected the economic interests of capitalists, but also highlighted deep-rooted racial prejudice, which shaped both labor markets and immigrant policies. Bonacci criticized the notion that white workers benefit from Asian labor and offers several counter-arguments. The first one is limited consumer benefits. While Asian labor may reduce the cost of goods and services, these benefits are primarily captured by employers in the forms of suppressed wages rather than being passed on the consumers. The second one is labor conditions. The jobs performed by Asian laborers are often described as undesirable, but this perception is shaped by the exploitative labor systems organized by capitalists rather than the inherent nature of the work. In a more equitable production system, such jobs might not be considered unappealing. And then the white workers' attitude. If white workers truly benefited from Asian labor, they would not advocate for immigrant inclusion. And the last one is capitalist perspective limitation. The capitalist claims that white workers gain from excluding lower their labor is constructed by their negativist views, showing the complexity of the exploitation system. And my aha movement when I realized how this historical background has shaped the social structure and immigration policies. We discussed the Western attitude toward Asian immigrants, which is not the result of the economic factors, but also deeply rooted in the imperialist and racist ideologies. We must recognize that many phenomena are not isolated but are profoundly influenced by history, economy, and social structure. The second one, I chose week 10. In our week 10 discussion, we explored key concepts like outsourcing, the information economy, and global governance, all of which are central to understanding the modern global capitalist system. These concepts are also examined in Lisa Loy's work when she discussed the interconnectedness of economy, social, and political factors in a globalized world. Lisa emphasized that the need of the inclusive governance in addressing global challenges such as climate change, trend, and human rights, reflecting the growing interdependence highlighted by the rise of outsourcing and the information economy. And outsourcing refers to the relocation of certain production of service processes to countries with lower labor costs. This practice allows capitalists to reduce production costs and increase profits. This aligns with the perspectives of Marx and Engels, who argued that the essence of capitalism lies in capitalists extracting surplus value from labor for profit. This practice has caused job losses and wage suppression in developed countries, with cities like New York and London relying on migrant labor to sustain the global economy since 1991. And the last one is the rise of the information economy has transformed how we access and disseminate information. With advancement in computer and communication technology, the speed and efficiency of information transmission have significantly improved, fostering closer connections within the global economy. And this transformation has not only influenced business models but also altered social interactions, encouraging cultural exchange and collisions. These concepts are interconnected with outsourcing, reshaping labor market, the information economy, enhancing economic integration, and global governance, addressing the negative effect of global capitalism. My aha moment was realizing how these forces intersect, as since the movements like anti-globalization protests and transnational feminism, which seeks to address social inequalities. I think the topic that had the greatest impact on me in these courses was the week 7. Week 7 is a talk about Asian labor and nationalism. I realized that the inclusion of Asian immigrants historically was not just driven by economic factors, but also deeply rooted in racist and imperialist ideologies. This understanding encouraged me to reflect on how this historical context shaped today's social structure and immigrant policies, motivating me to advocate for a greater cultural understanding and exclusivity in my own life. Thank you.